I am able to come and share with you guys about what a prostitute, a stripper, and a porn star can teach a wife.
Give me $100 and I'll fulfill all your fantasies. I'll bet you some husbands like, all right. And then when you bring it back, I gave you $100 for that fantasy last week. You can't throw that back up at me. I saw this video and I thought you might like it. So actually, I didn't think you might like it. I just wanted to see what the video was about. And honestly, I don't know what a porn star, a stripper, and a what did they say?
A prostitute, a stripper, and a porn star.
So do you think a prostitute, a porn star, and a stripper can teach a wife anything?
Probably. No, maybe either like confidence or you asked how to be able to block their feelings and just do a job.
To endure. Can teach them how to endure
with that person. I mean, I don't know. Like the three of them are able to just kind of just, go do their job and like leave emotions out of it and just it's a job.
I don't know if I agree with what you're saying right now. I think you're a little off. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think you're a little off.
I think that women are too critical about themselves. They worry about too much. Maybe they could teach wives to just relax a little bit and have fun and not be so worried about
life,
what your partner's gonna think of you. I don't know.
The first thing they did tell me, each and every last one of them, was that they cannot perform these acts, whether you're a stripper, a prostitute, or a porn star, sober. They say they just could not do it.
That is true.
To be a wife, you cannot perform the duties of being a wife sober.
No, she didn't say that. She said the stripper, the porn star, and the prostitute could not.
Now I'm lost.
So confusing. Just play the video.
You're confusing me.
Just let her talk so we know what she's saying.
Each one of these ladies were in an altered state. So that's the first thing. Because we as women were truly not created to do this kind of work in a sober mind. We just was not. We was created to be nurturers, and we was created to just have one sexual partner. That's the way God created it.
Are you trying to figure out what the prostitute, stripper, and the like how they feel about stuff, or are we trying to learn what they're trying to teach, what the wives are supposed to do? So now I'm lost in where she's going with the video. Do you understand where she's going?
No, not yet. I do not.
What the stripper told me is what makes them so appealing to our husbands is that they're able to lock eyes with our husbands and make them feel like they're the only man in the room and that they're the king of the world. And I can attest to being a wife over 31 years now, that after a while, I stopped looking at Gil, right? I really stopped looking into his eyes, especially when I had children.
It's terrible. I stopped looking at you.
I mean, I don't know if she meant she stopped looking at him, but she
didn't. She meant like in his eyes, but like that way.
Like, I want to eat you up. Like, yeah, stop looking at him like that.
She said when they will come in there, they lock eyes with them, right? And they can tell if the guy is sad, if he's happy, if he's not feeling well. She said when you lock eyes on a man and you make them feel that you understand them, that you're paying attention, she said it's nothing like it, because they're able to tell them it's going to be okay. They understand. They know that he doesn't feel good. They know that he's disappointed.
So
what is she teaching? She's trying to tell the wife that you're going to need to look in your husband's eyes. I
think she's missing. I think it's the actual listening. Yeah, when you're listening, when you're actively listening to someone, you look at them.
Yeah, because there's also a thrill to it. I mean, I don't know that all husbands will get as turned on with their wives looking in their eyes as they would a complete stranger wearing close to nothing.
No, what I'm saying is that like if I just sat here and I just looked in your eyes and we didn't say anything, I might feel something. But if I actually know that you're listening to what I'm saying, and the thing is that when you're having these type of interactions, I would think is that the stripper, the porn star, or whatever she is, she's actually listening to what you're saying. Like, she doesn't have the weight of the world and all these past things that you've done and all this stuff. She's like just listening to you purely. It's like, oh, it's like, really? You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's so, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not the whole just looking in the eyes. It's what's going on with that. It's like you're actually listening. Somebody's listening to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, how many men out there feel like, you know, like nobody listens to them. They don't have anybody to talk to. And you go to this person and they look in your eyes and then you talk and you express how you feel about stuff and then they just listen.
Yeah.
I would think it's more the listening part.
And they give you sympathy.
Yeah. They don't give you pushback. They don't give you this, you know, I don't even know how to do it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know what I'm talking about?
Make sure that you start looking into your husband's eyes and acknowledge him and say, you look like you're not feeling good today. Is something wrong? She said, because when you're not asking them and they're going to these strip clubs, they're asking those questions. Number 2, let me tell you what the prostitute told me. It's really not all about the sexual act. It's all about understanding how to please your man. We have become so complacent when it comes to our bedrooms. And what the prostitute says is that the whole time when she enters the door, she says she asks him, what can I do to please you?
How many wives are going to be asking that question tonight?
Well, hey, but if you're asking for honest, you know, what can I do to please you? Now, here's the thing. If you ask that type of question, huh? What do you mean you shouldn't have to ask?
I mean, if you know the person you're with good enough, you shouldn't really have to ask.
Believe me,
You should know.
Nah, so if you ever had the chance to actually step into a man's mind for a while, you really wouldn't. You don't know, and you really wouldn't want to ask. And so, if you actually ask the man, "What can I do to please you?" he's actually only going to give you like 50% of it. He's not going to give you 100% because 100% you'd be like, "Ooh." It's like, who are you? It's like, no, I'm not dressing up like a squirrel jumping around trying to grab nuts. I mean, not. I know that's just crazy, but I'm just saying, like, no, not. But that's not on my mind. But I'm just saying, like, it would be something like women would look at it, it's like, ooh, it's like, no, like, I was wanting to please you, but you just turned me off. Like, you're sick. But I mean, how many women you think would do that? Like, what can I do to please you? That don't even sound like I've never heard
I don't know that any women that I know would do that.
I've never heard a woman say that, to be honest with you. But I mean, I guess if you're paying for it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what can I do to please you? Everything has a price. That's what she's not understanding.
that lady listening to her sobbing husband is getting paid to listen.
But the wife is getting paid. Well, I don't know if all wives are getting paid, but I would say that they're probably going to say is that the wives are getting paid, like the guys paying the mortgage. But you know,
that's not necessarily true.
I know.
But how about like maybe wives need to come home and maybe men need to ask the wives, "What can I do to please you?"
It's that modern woman stuff that they're talking about right now. Maybe the husbands should start paying their wives for services.
Yeah.
Ooh, what?
No.
What? Huh? What?
No.
I mean, it's better to keep the money in the house instead of paying somebody else for it.
Some women might take offense to that.
If you getting $100, $150, like what woman the next day was like, I don't know what I did last night, but I can go get my nails done, go get me a pair of shoes.
They might be moving down the street to the neighbors during the day. Like, I might be able to make a little business out of this.
I'm just saying.
Number 3, what did I learn from the porn star? We as wives are not open to creating fantasies. The porn star provides that fantasy that they're not getting at home. So they dress up in the movies, they role play in the movies, they do all of those things. We have stopped asking our husbands what are their fantasies.
I think that would be a bad question to ask too.
We've stopped asking our husbands. I mean, when were people ever asking their husbands? Some people are lucky enough to just be told fantasies.
Yeah, but I would think if you ask the average man their fantasies, like women, like wives would be shocked what the average man's fantasy is.
They wouldn't say what it is.
You don't think the average man will say what it is? I would say the average man will say like multiple women.
I think that most husbands would not be open to honestly answering any of those questions. Because it's going to be a payback. There's going to be payback. Most wives aren't even going to want to hear that. multiple women.
Yeah, I know. And so
It's not going to come up maybe that night, but like the next week it's going to come up.
In a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't gonna forget, she's gonna remind him. If it's a fantasy, I mean, let's just say if it's truly a fantasy. If it's a fantasy, meaning that it won't possibly happen, if the man can't tell his wife about that or can't talk to his wife about that, but he talks to the stripper versus telling you and just going through that fantasy with him in his mind. I do understand is that it can be like off-putting for a wife to hear that from a husband. Because I would say that the wife would probably be like, okay, where's this coming from? Like, I don't understand this. It's like, I feel like I'm not enough. I will say is that I would think that women have fantasies too. And so if you were to let your husband open up about his fantasies, maybe you could open up about your fantasies.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that the communication is key. I mean, I think it's very important. What she is missing, though, is that these three people, they're very good at what they do because that's their job. They do it every day. They practice for it. They dress for it.
Devil's advocate here. Is being a husband and being a wife not a job too, or should we not make it a job and we should treat it just like a job like they do?
They're not treating it like a job. They're with multiple people every day. What do you mean?
It's like, should you not do that as being a wife and also being a husband? Is treat the wife and being a husband as a job and put it on the same level. That way you are trying to do things to make things work.
Yeah.
You're trying to...
I mean, in your marriage, that is your job. That is part of your job of being married, is to make sure that your significant other's needs are being met with whatever they are.
Yeah, I would say most people wouldn't agree with that, though.
I'm not understanding her whole correlation between...
She's just telling you what she learned. Why men go seek out these other women.
What these people can teach wives.
So, for what I understand, the stripper, porn star... I keep forgetting who these people are. The stripper, the porn star, and assuming what she's saying in the first one there was that look your man in the eye, which honestly really equated to listening. I think a lot of guys want to talk to females, and they just want them to listen to them.
Just want the attention.
Yeah, they just want the attention. And so, attention and listening and eye contact. First one. What was the second one?
How can I please you today?
Yeah, how can I please you today? Yeah, that's going to be a little stretch. I would think most guys would be okay with is like, is there anything new you would like to try? Maybe not how can I please you, but is there anything, I don't even know if that would go over, if there's anything new you would like to try. I don't even know what you would replace for that one. I don't know what you would replace. I don't think
that you leave it up to them to tell you. I think you
make some suggestions.
Surprise them with something.
That might not be
This
good
is
either.
how I'm going to please you today.
Hey, look. Actually, even if it has something to do with something that's
something different, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
because then at least you feel comfortable with it. It was your idea, and because I'm telling you now, a lot of people aren't going to like the answer that they get. And then it's going to be like a double whammy because here he's thinking he's going to get.
But if this is how I'm gonna please you today, I'm gonna bake you a cake, and then I'm gonna bake you a cake, without any clothes on. Is that really gonna do it for? If that's not his, if that's not his thing, it's like I did something for you, but you didn't do. I don't like. They don't do anything. What was number 3? Number 3 is what?
Fantasies.
Fantasies.
Well, am I the only one paying attention here?
I don't know, but fantasies. So I can see how some guys have fantasies. I guess when Britney Spears came out, for the people that not old enough, when Britney Spears came out and she came out in the schoolgirl outfit, that's what made her famous. Well, actually, you know what? Isn't that what are you laughing at?
I'm waiting to hear what you're about to say.
Oh.
I think that many wives could definitely do more and do better, but I do not think that you need to be like a prostitute, a porn star, or a stripper.
You just have to have the mindset. It's like, I'm going to get this money.
Yeah, I think you have to honestly just kind of like care less. And when I say care less, I don't mean about like your marriage or your man. I mean like about what you look like and what you sound like.
I'm not sure that she's talking about the looks. I think she's more talking about the acts of
I think
service.
like a lot of women.
The acts of
I think
service.
a lot of women think about stuff but won't do it because they feel like it's
degrading.
It's not okay to do. Like it's like taboo.
Yeah, but if you were to be taboo, who is the best person to be taboo with? Not some stranger.
Right. No.
To be taboo with the person that you're supposed to be.
I agree. A lot of women are reserved and they do care.
Well, that's why the stripper, the porn star, and the prostitute knows more about your husband's deep
They get
desires
paid
than you do.
to
Hey,
know
but he
about-
still
you
knows.
think they really care about what those people
They
are
don't.
talking
They
about?
don't. That's what I'm
They're
saying.
not listening. They have the listening face on.
But that's
they're
what I'm
not
saying.
listening.
It's like maybe even if you want that dynamic, have your man pay for it. It's like, listen, give me
Yeah.
$100 and I'll fulfill all your fantasies. I bet you some husbands like, all right. And then when you bring it back, I gave you $100 for that fantasy last week. You can't throw that back up at me. Let your husband pay for the fantasies. I think that's an equal deal at that point in time. You get something out of it, he gets something out of it. You get a pair of brand new shoes, he gets a fantasy, tit for tat. You bring it up next week because you get upset. He said, "Hey, I paid you for that fantasy last week. What's the big deal? See them red bottoms you got on? Bad video, good video.
I didn't care for this one.
Really? Why? I
don't
liked
know.
it. So
You do like it because it's all right up your alley.
it's catering to men, like
Yes.
bad wives.
Whatever.